Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Firstly, I hope each and every one of you is fit and healthy and that you're all dealing okay with whatever restrictions are in place in your part of the world. I want to apologise for the lack of activity on this channel over the last few months. It's been hard to focus on creative projects, so I haven't really been able to film anything new. We're back in a second lockdown here in the UK, but when we come out of it again, I'm going to take you behind the scenes on some real world shoots and create some more practical videos. For the time being, I'm going to break down the lighting of this recent client Lookbook shoot where I was using just 2 lights. And to show you the lighting setup, I'm going to use a piece of software called set.a.light 3D, which I've used in the past. So now we're in set.a.light. I've got my cove set up, I've got my model in place, and I've got my camera ready. I'm not going to show you how to set up a studio in set.a.light. There's plenty of videos on the internet to show you how to do that. If you check out set.a.light's YouTube channel, you'll find all sorts of useful tutorials there. We're purely going to focus on the lighting of my shoot here. So let's start by choosing our light from this monolight tab. Here there are all sorts of modifiers that you can choose from snoots, reflectors, beauty dishes, octoboxes, parabolics, umbrellas, all sorts. Pretty much everything you'll need is here. Let's grab this inverted parabolic umbrella, which is as close to the one that I own. We're going to drag it into the set, and I'm going to place it at a 45-degree angle to my model. Then I'm going to raise it up, roughly angled down at 45 degrees again. Now, the parabolic that I own allows you to focus or defocus a light. I had it defocused on this shoot to produce a softer light with a wider spread. But you can't quite do that in set.a.light, so what we're going to do is the next best thing. We're going to add just the internal diffuser to soften it up a bit. And that will give us a fairly similar quality of light. We're using 500 watt heads here, as you can see on the left, and I was using a 500 watt Pro Photo head on this shoot. I had it at almost full power, so let's go and crank the power up here with this slider to about 9. That's about right, that's about where we were. And you can see that the exposure looks good already in this little preview. So we're going to snap a photo which will render out an image. And this looks good already. We've got a nice exposure on the skin. But the one main thing that's sticking out to me here is the shadow area on the legs. The difference in exposure is quite drastic from top to bottom. So what we're going to do is jump back into setup and going to go back into the monolight tab and choose a small umbrella. And now what I'm going to do here is create a clamshell style of light. We're going to place it as low to the floor as possible. Actually, we'll remove the stand. And we're going to place it right in line with our other light, but angle the light towards the lower body. Clamshell lighting is often used in beauty, but I like to apply it to fashion too. So you can already see here in the preview that the legs are far more lit up. If we toggle the light on and off, turn it off for a second, you can see a lot more shadow here and a lot less fill on the upper half of the body. So let's toggle that on again. And I'm going to crank the power up again to about 8. Maybe a little bit lower, maybe down to 7. And angle that down as much as possible. We don't want too much light spilling back up onto the upper half of our model. So let's go and render another shot. So this is looking much better to me. We've got a far more even exposure across the whole body. And we're also filling in some of the shadows under the chin, as you can see here, with the light that's bouncing off of the white cove and up. Now, one thing that's sticking out to me is the amount of shadow here on the left side of her face. Now, if this was an editorial, this might just work for you. You might want this amount of contrast on one side of the face. However, as it's a lookbook and it's pretty commercial, we want to show off the lingerie in this case. I'm going to bring in a polyboard to boost the fill on the left-hand side. So I've already got my polyboard here, and I'm just going to drag it in pretty close so it's not coming into shot. And as you can see, it's really helping to fill in that light. Let's go and render one more shot. So here we go. This is pretty much the final look. We've got our main key light coming in and lighting up the upper half of the body. We've got our small umbrella filling in some of the shadow area down here. And our polyboard is helping to bounce back in some more of this light, because without it, we've got a very contrasty image, and it's not necessarily what you want for a commercial lookbook. Another thing that I'm doing here is I'm pulling our models about 10 foot away from our white cove. Now, in this case, we had a big studio with a huge infinity cove, but you're not necessarily going to have that on every shoot. I know I don't. I'm normally putting up coloured backdrops. The same principle applies though. You can pull your model out from the backdrop, shoot on a longer focal length to compress the image a little bit more, and you can create that separation from the white backdrop to allow it to fall, so a little bit of a grey colour. I don't really like to evenly light white backdrops for lookbooks like this. I just feel it's a little bit tacky sometimes. It depends on what you're shooting though. If you're shooting e-commerce and you need a clean white image, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and you can introduce some lights into the background to help with that. Or you can push the model right up to the cove, which will get rid of a lot of that shadow. But for me, I like to work with shadow, and in this case we've got nice soft shadows and a good separation from the background. I hope this just goes to show that commercial lighting doesn't need to be too technical. And if you don't have expensive parabolics, use a softbox, use a deep umbrella, use what you have. So now we're done in set.a.light. Let's compare the actual photo from the day with this 3D rendering. I do have an affiliate link for set.a.light, and you can find that down in the description below. If you do make a purchase through any of my affiliate links, I'll get a small commission and it will help this channel grow. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. And be sure to follow me on Instagram if you want to see more of what I do behind the scenes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.